Salutations, viewers. My name is GameDame, and welcome back to another one of GameDame Reacts. So, I recently reviewed, or I saw the release for Xbox Series S, and I am not particularly fond of the design. I think it looks really goofy. Does it look sleek? Yes. I think it looks nice and sleek and modern, but it just looks like a speaker. And I just think it's a goofy design. But of course, beauty is to the eyes of the beholder, and someone else could see this as one of the most beautiful designs they've ever seen. However, that is not the case for me. But that does not stop me from looking more into the Xbox Series S. Even though I'm going to get a PS5, because there's not really a lot of exclusives that aren't already on PC that I could get. There's no reason for me to buy this, but I used to be really big into Xbox growing up. I just see it as something that kind of fell off, especially since I got my PC, and all the games that are available are on PC that are available on Xbox, so there's no reason for me to get it. But I just want to take a look more into what the Xbox Series S has. So without further ado, let us watch this trailer.
When we started this journey in 2016, we set the goal of bringing transformative gaming experiences to all gamers across the globe. Gamers have different priorities and playstyles, but we all want to have the same great gaming experience with the same catalog of next-generation games
I can
that
agree
we
with
can
that.
play with our friends, regardless of which device we choose to play on. To deliver on our ambitions, we knew we needed to build two consoles with similar next-gen capabilities at a differentiated price point. By designing two
that is
consoles in
smart. That's
parallel
what they
from
should
the very
do.
beginning, we can
We got
deliver
the fridge and the
same core
speaker.
gaming experience while also making it as easy as possible for developers to scale their games across both consoles with minimal effort. This means that Xbox Series S delivers the same incredible next-generation experience and features as Series X, just at a reduced rendering resolution. With that in mind, I'd like to highlight some of the features and performance benefits you can expect from Xbox Series S, our smallest, most affordable, all-digital, next-generation Xbox console.
And
Xbox
yeah,
Series
that's what
S
you have to
leverages
do.
the same 8-core Zen 2 CPU architecture as the Xbox Series X, running at 3.6 GHz and 3.4 GHz with simultaneous multi-threading enabled.
Okay.
The primary difference between Xbox Series X and S is the GPU. Xbox Series X
I would
is designed
imagine
to deliver a next-generation gaming experience in native 4K at 60 frames per second with support for up to 120 frames per second. Series S
Supposed to.
is designed to deliver the same great next-gen experience at 1440p, also with support for up to 120 frames a second. It also includes an advanced hardware scaler to upscale your games when you're connected to a 4K TV. Xbox Series S also has full hardware support for AMD's
can't get over this
latest
guy's beard.
RDNA
It's
2 feature
amazing.
set, including hardware-accelerated DirectX ray tracing, mesh shaders, and variable rate shading, the exact same as Xbox Series X. Xbox Series S contains 10 gigs of GDDR6 memory,
Ooh,
running
okay.
at 224 gigabytes
That's
per
not
second,
bad for how small this
scaled
is.
in line with the target resolution. Both consoles are powered by the Xbox Velocity architecture, which means you can expect the same next-generation benefits from Xbox Series S, including faster load times, consistent and higher frame rates, and new features like Quick Resume. Xbox Series S advances the state-of-the-art even further by adding new innovation such as sampler feedback streaming, only possible on our next-generation consoles. With sampler feedback streaming, Xbox Series S is able to load only the portions of textures required to render the scene, just when they are needed. It allows games to load texture data with a much finer granularity than ever before, resulting in a massive leap in I/O and memory efficiency.
That's actually pretty good,
The Xbox
especially for a
Velocity
budget
architecture works
console.
in perfect harmony with our custom SoC to make this possible, including our custom NVMe SSD, dedicated hardware decompression blocks, our new direct storage API, and sampler feedback streaming. This enables, on average, approximately 2.5 times improvement on I/O bandwidth performance and memory utilization beyond the raw hardware specifications. Developers can use this improved efficiency to increase the amount of detail and texture variety, or provide additional resources to other systems such as AI. This means that next generation games will load much faster, texture quality can be significantly increased, and quick cuts between scenes are now achievable, keeping the player immersed in the game world. Here, you can see how much more quickly games can load on Xbox Series S. The player on Xbox Series S is already enjoying the Outer Worlds, while the player on Xbox One is still waiting for the game to load. This is important not just when players launch a game for the first time, but every time. Whether it's time to load in a new level or restart from a previous checkpoint after a momentary setback.
I don't believe
Xbox Series
it
S gets you
actually
back in the
loads
game
takes that
faster
long
than
to
ever.
load. But I also don't have an Xbox One S.
With Quick Resume, this is how easy it is to move from one pause game to another and pick up right where you left off. Suspend and Resume made it simple for Xbox One players to put their consoles to sleep and get back into the game later.
That's pretty great, though, if I
With
do say
Quick
so
Resume,
myself. You think that would work
Xbox
for Dark
Series S
Souls?
owners can have multiple games
I
in
don't think so.
rotation and easily move among them in a snap.
I'm just poking fun because there's usually never a pause in any Dark Souls games.
As we said previously, we designed Xbox Series S to target 1440p at 60 frames per second with support for up to 120 frames per second. For a closer look at what 120 frames per second means for games, let's go over to our friends at the Coalition.
When Gears of War made the move to 60 frames per second on Xbox One, players benefited from higher frame rate, fluid motion, and increased gameplay responsiveness, which is so essential for a precision multiplayer game like Gears. We're excited to announce
I would
that with
assume
next-gen
so, but I feel
gaming
like there's a
on
lot more
Xbox,
factors than just
Gears
the
is taking
FPS.
a huge leap forward beyond 60 frames per second. With our update to Gears 5, we're bringing 120 frames per second multiplayer to Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. At 120 frames per second, every reaction and input is translated to on-screen action even faster, without compromising visual quality. The Xbox Series S is more than 4 times as powerful as the Xbox One S. It's
I would
certainly
assume so and
capable of
hope so that
120
it
frames per
is,
second,
because there's such a
and we've
big
enabled that with Gears
difference
5
in years between the
without compromising
technology.
visual quality. You really need to play it to feel how smooth and responsive the game is, as your controls translate into gameplay with less than half the latency. This is so important for Gears, a game that requires precision aiming and shooting, high-speed cover movement, and twitch-based player versus player battles. We cannot wait for you to experience the performance of 120 frames per second on both Xbox Series S and Xbox Series X.
With Xbox Series X and S, your favorite games seamlessly scale across devices.
Oh, then they put
while
Dirt 5
maintaining
on
what's
here.
new
Okay.
and innovative about our next generation consoles. We wanted to make the development process as easy as possible for developers around the world to build their games for both consoles. All the games you see here are running on Xbox Series S. Developers today already use a number of techniques, such as dynamic resolution scaling, to scale their games across
I'd like to
multiple
see how this
performance
runs.
profiles. And the design of Xbox Series X and S empowers them to continue to do
Crisis.
so without requiring fundamental changes. Developers
Full capacity.
will typically optimize their games first for 4K on Series X, and then scale down the rendering resolution to 1440p for Xbox Series S.
I am
while
excited for
still
that
supporting
game, Call of
all
the
of
Sea.
the other great next-gen features. With support for all of the same next-generation features and capabilities,
Oh, I can't wait for
in
this
both
game
Xbox
either.
Series X and S, developers can focus on delivering the same great gaming experience on both consoles, and their power, speed, and performance will enable the future of games.
That was a really good rundown as to what's inside the Xbox Series S. Do I think that consoles will ever beat PCs? No. We're always ahead of the times, but do I think that consoles are a really great medium for people to get more into this type of technology and have a better understanding of the grasp of what goes into it? Yes. Is this a good move for most people? Yes. Consoles were great for me growing up. Why? Because they were cheaper than building a PC. They're a lot more portable than a PC, unless you had a laptop, but laptops aren't always the most reliable. Do I think Xbox has the cutting edge this time around? While it might be a little bit more powerful than PS5, from what I remember, I don't think it has the edge over it, considering all the exclusives that PlayStation has. I know this is like a never-ending battle, but Microsoft is just leaning more towards the fact that they want to have all the games available for people throughout any Microsoft product. So that's why, for me, it's like it's a no-brainer not to get this, mainly because everything's available on PC already. Look, I think the design goofy. I think the specs are fantastic, but they're going to be outdated within the next year or so. That's just how I see it, because technology is changing every single day. And instead of it updating every 2 years, we're at like every 6 months now. Not even. It's probably even more than that for the advancement in our technology. But I mean, these are good consoles. Like they are stepping up their game. They are making it better for everyone. They are doing their job and their due diligence as to what they should. Especially we're making the two different consoles, because most of the times when I was younger, I couldn't afford a $400 or $500 console. God, I remember when they were selling them for like $600-$700. I'm like, I can't afford this. Are you kidding me? I like the affordability that they're doing this, and they're clearly stating that there is going to be certain rendering options and what the resolution's going to be at for S compared to X. They did a really good job, I think, in this video explaining the differences and the core stuff that they wanted to highlight for the Xbox Series S. What do you guys think? Are you going to get the S, the X, or are you going to get a PlayStation 5? Let me know in the comments down below. But that is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe and or follow not only to my YouTube, but to my Twitch. You know where my YouTube is at, but you can find my Twitch at twitch.tv/thegamedame. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.